I've been building a new hybrid modular system with one foot in the land of Eurorack and the other in the high seas of software. In our last episode, we explored the Eurorack component of this system. In this episode, we'll turn our attention toward the software and controllers that connect it all. Let's go. You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the Lightbath zone. Once upon a time, a modular synth met a DAW and they fell in love. Years later, they had a baby and they called it Bitwig Studio. I've been an Ableton Live user since version 3 and I still love it and use it, but Bitwig has some fundamental differences that make it the best choice for this particular system. Here are my 4 primary reasons for using Bitwig in this new hybrid system. Number 1, flexibility. Just like a modular system, Bitwig makes it easy to modulate any parameter and connect nearly anything to anything. While Ableton Live does allow the mapping of LFOs and other control elements to parameters, before Live 12, once they were mapped, they were unavailable for manual control. With Live 12, the LFO device now applies modulation to the offset value of the knob, which is very cool. But this isn't implemented on all devices that provide mapping, so you're still stuck with frozen knobs most of the time. With Bitwig, it all just works properly at the fundamental level. A parameter can be modulated and manually controlled simultaneously, and the resulting modulation is really clear and easy to see. Number 2, modulators. Bitwig has a huge selection of what they call modulators that can be anything from a simple macro knob, an LFO, a multi-stage envelope, a parameter sequencer, math operations, audio rate modulation from any source, a random value each time a MIDI note is received, lots more. One of my favorite moves is to use a parameter sequencer to make a custom macro knob that switches between specific values along its travel. So take, for instance, this vocal device that I use. There are different sounds available through this menu, but that's not a great way of changing those vowel sounds. You can map a knob to it, but then you have access to, in this order, ah, quiet and loud, oh, quiet and loud, and ooh. And those aren't arranged in a soft to loud sort of way. So what I do is I modulate this parameter sequencer, and as this value changes, it selects a different stage. So I've got 4 stages, and you just set them to free running and you set them to hold. And then I just find the exact value on this parameter that's going to give each particular vowel sound. And then I can just change the vowel. And so I now have my 4 favorites organized from quiet to loud. Then I have this vowel percentage parameter here. So I took a random device, again, set it to hold, and set it to trigger on note. So every time a new note comes into this track, it gives a new random value. And then I attenuate it with this vowel percentage parameter. And that just sets what's the chance that a different vowel than what I have selected will happen. So I like to keep it kind of low just for a little bit of variety. And then I can specifically choose the vowels I want, but then maybe occasionally something's going to change a little bit on just one note. I love this per note random as opposed to just a per time random that might change in the middle of a note. I don't want a vowel to automatically change in the middle of a note. I want it to be every new note, there's a chance that it might be different. Many thanks to Sound Iron for sending this Voices of Gaia instrument. I should note that Ableton Live now has the Performer Max for Live device by IFTA that allows for custom segmented mappings like this. This is a huge step forward in Live, but I still find that Bitwig's implementation is easier to configure and use. Number 3, the grid. Bitwig has a powerful modular environment called the grid. If a device doesn't already exist inside of Bitwig, you can probably build it yourself in the grid. Coming from a modular background, I found solving problems and realizing wild ideas easier in the grid than in Ableton's Max for Live platform. While Max is extremely powerful, it has a steeper learning curve and I'm just not there yet. To learn more about Bitwig and the grid, I highly recommend Polarity's YouTube channel. He's a Bitwig wizard of the highest order. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Number 4, selectors. You can nest countless instances of a device in a rack, a type of container that Bitwig calls a selector. And when you switch between those instances, Bitwig automatically disables the unused devices and allows for spillover of the audio so that the change is seamless while it conserves CPU. You could theoretically have 1,000 variations of a plug-in chain and select between them with very likely little CPU load. I love using this as a preset switcher for a single voice, which lets me switch not just between different presets of a single plugin, but the entire plugin itself, even the chain of devices before or after it. Try doing this in Ableton Live without crashing. So let's look at how I use Bitwig Studio in this new hybrid modular system. I have 7 different voices, each on their own channel, controlled by the first 7 parts of the vector sequencer. Part is the 512 word for track. I always want to use the common wording that DAWs use, but tracks are parts. The 7 voices are Plats, which is audio from the first disting EX in the Eurorack, plus software effects. Rings, audio from the second disting EX, plus Bitwig effects. Choral, audio from Choral in the rack, plus effects. Bass, an instrument layer device with Arturia's Pigments, doing a synth bass, and the PJ Cohen stand-up bass contact instrument, doing an upright bass. Synths, an instrument selector device combining Arturia Pigments, GeForce Virtual String Machine, and GeForce OBX. You might be aware of my recent sound design work with GeForce. Both of those instruments ship with presets that I've designed. And thanks to Arturia for sending me an NFR of the new Pigments. I'm really impressed with it, and I would love to do some sound design with Arturia sometime. Ensemble, an instrument layer device with 5 different acoustic instruments. Noir, which is a gorgeous felt piano by Nils Fromm. Sonico Tour's Grand Marimba. Sound Iron's Elysium Harp. Native Instruments Session Strings Pro double bass and cello. And Sound Iron's Voices of Gaia. There's some fancy stuff happening in a lot of these that allows for specific control over articulations, be it rolled marimba versus struck or bowed, plucked strings versus bowed strings, or vocal vowels. I also have some simple grid devices that allow for volume control that is natural sounding and not just a linear attenuator. And lastly, we have a Morphogene channel, which is audio from Morphogene plus effects in Bitwig. Watch my previous hybrid system episode for details on those hardware voices and how they're connected from the hardware sequencer to Bitwig and back to the devices. You can also head over to Patreon, where I've assembled a bundle of resources that covers all of those details. For the ensemble, I use event probability on each instrument to distribute a single monophonic sequence in the vector sequencer. I like this approach because it allows for random groupings of instruments. I can write one single melodic line and set the general density of each acoustic voice with these TouchOSC sliders on my iPhone, giving me an ever-changing orchestration of that line. I also have a global probability control for the entire ensemble in case I want to carve it all down in one move. My synth voice has this button bank that selects which instrument is currently active. It took some custom scripting to get that working with this BU16 grid device by Intech Studio. The strength of these Intech grids is how flexible they can be. They're scriptable with Lua, so as long as you have somewhat of a coder's brain, you can make them do pretty much whatever you want. I am not a coder, so I leveraged Intech's support team, which is really helpful and committed to helping users. I described what I wanted to achieve, and Intech gave me some simple Lua code to pop into the editor. Granted, my use case was pretty simple. I just wanted the LEDs to function as radio buttons that would select only one LED at a time. That way I could know which preset was currently selected. So if you look here, you can see that Woodwindy is selected, but I can select Shadow Link. Notice it's sleeping. There, it received a note, so now it is awake. I can do the echo plus fifth. Wait till it receives a note. There, it's awake. You can see Shadow Link is still sustaining because there's still audio coming through. And there we go with the echo plus fifth. So this is the brilliance that I was talking about with Bitwig's selectors. It's seamless. It's so amazing. And then after them, there's this little effects area where you can place global effects on all of these instruments. So all of the instruments go through a compressor, a volume control that's before a filter, into delay, into clouds, a VCV rack version of clouds, into this auto pan that I have, and then a peak limiter. If you want a detailed walkthrough, head over to Patreon for the deep dive. Also, many thanks to Intech for supporting this hybrid system by sending these new and updated grid devices. The new version is vastly improved over the originals. The outer shell is a much higher quality, the pots are super solid, no more wiggle, it's great. My other MIDI controller is this MIDI Fighter Twister by DJ Tech Tools. This is possibly my favorite controller that I've ever used. The knobs feel amazing. They're so smooth. They're large enough that you can easily grab them. There's just the right amount of resistance. One of the best things about this DJ Tech Tools twister is that you can pick it up. And the way it's designed, it has this scooped surface that makes a perfect handle. Beyond that, each knob can act as two separate knobs, or a knob and a button. So the way I have all of these set up is there's a primary function. And then if you press and hold and turn, there's a secondary function. And so the way I have these configured is the primary function is this Flourish technique that I use. We'll look into that in a moment. And the secondary is the probability of that track. So I can carve it down so it barely happens, make it happen fully, and then let go, and then here we go. By pressing and holding, I'm never lost as to which function the knob is currently set to. It's more muscle memory and less visual cues from color. So I know that for clouds, this is clouds mix. So I can go like this and do something with clouds. And I can maybe set the texture differently, I can set the size differently, or I can add reverb. So the reverb's down. It's kind of a secondary function. So all my primary functions, you don't have to press. All my secondaries, you do press. It's a great way of organizing, like when I have delays, I have the mix, and then I have the feedback under it. So that organization just makes it a lot easier to remember all of these knobs. We basically have 128 different functions inside of this. So it's kind of a lot to memorize. And so grouping things together like that and having the color coding really makes it a lot easier to learn. That said, the DJ Tech Tools software for configuring is a little buggy, is a little outdated, doesn't always work well. Sometimes you have to flash the module multiple times, and then sometimes colors and assignments get mixed up. They're not as you set them, and you just have to flash it again. It's also fairly limited. You can only do what DJ Tech Tools allows you to do. Whereas with Intech, it's scriptable by Lua. You can do pretty much whatever you want. That said, their controllers are not quite as elegant as this DJ Tech Tools one. Oh, and possibly most importantly, is you can easily see what value the knob is set to. By the way, you can see that you can make it just a single dot. It can be bipolar, where the color is different at the 12 o'clock position, or you can make it unipolar and you can make it a blended bar. So it really makes it easy to see pretty precisely where your knob is set, and then as you change pages, you know, they can be different. So you can really keep track of the different pages and what your values are. With the way Intech does it, with just a brightness of an LED, you can't really tell what it's been set to. So I don't page between different pages on the Intech stuff. I keep it as a hard-coded single thing. My separate pages are actually used for different types of setups. So this hybrid setup has the first page. I have another setup with some other instruments that I use with the computer, and those use the second page. I kind of wish DJ Tech Tools had a color picker for their colors, because the colors on the software don't really match the colors on the device itself. And the colors that you can choose from are mostly good, but I wish for a little bit more variety. Whereas, for example, in Intech's, it's a color picker, so I could choose exactly what I wanted. That helps me keep track of where I'm at. I'm on the yellow channel, I know that's choral. I'm on the teal channel, I know that's my software synths. These side buttons on the twister can be assigned to whatever you want. I have all three on the same side assigned to the same thing because I don't want to accidentally press the wrong one and they just do page left and page right. But you could theoretically assign them to a certain MIDI note that does another function if you feel comfortable with feeling Braille style where your fingers are on the buttons and pressing the right one. Again, I just want it to be quick. I want to grab it and just press a button. It doesn't matter which button I'm currently pressing. If it's on the right side, it'll page forward. If it's on the left side, it'll page back. So these are my clouds controls. We've got the mix, the reverb. We've got a quantized pitch offset. And this is all done through VCVREC, where I send an offset into a quantizer. And that quantizer is patched into the volt per octave input so that I can re-pitch clouds. This is on every channel except for the bass. That fourth channel is the bass, and it's set up with an AD envelope here, my Flourish technique. And this Flourish technique had to be different for the software instruments than the hardware. With the hardware instruments, most specifically the Disting EX running Platts, I could run a voltage into it to offset the pitch of whatever the MIDI note was playing. That's how I got this really great offset that repitches all notes at once. So it's kind of like having a slider on the synthesizer itself, that's the synth engine itself. But when I'm using a multi-sampled instrument, like this bass, I had to figure out a way of triggering a new MIDI note. So to do that, I had to build this. This was pretty challenging, and I got lots of help sorting out this logic from a user on the Bitwig Discord called Pike. Many thanks, Pike. If you want to know exactly how I have these Flourish devices set up, head over to Patreon and download the resources pack. I also explain how my global scale and recording routing is all set up. So then on the second page of this twister, I have the same flourish and event probability for the synth voice, top 2 rows, and the ensemble, and clouds on this top 3, just like the first page, but then some specific synth-related parameters that are 4 macros that apply to every sound that I might choose. And they're all the same type of things. Like this one is going to be some sort of effect. This is going to be some sort of attack and decay. This is going to be some sort of other effect. So if these knobs are in a certain place and I hit a new sound, that sound is going to have the characteristics of the previous sound. And then if I want to make it sharper, I can go like that. Then with this Morphogene voice, there's still clouds over here. But the first knob is the morph offset on the module. This is just a quicker way of turning the morph knob on Morphogene. If I'm manipulating clouds like this, then I can just lower morph or raise morph quickly with my fingers already here. Then I have event probability here, and that event probability is for a vector track that sends triggers, and those triggers come into this Pingy device that I made in VCVrack. The event probability comes from using this branches module, and it's just an AD envelope. You see this is patched into the A and this is patched into the D, and I'm moving them with sliders over here on the F8R, the fader, so that I can actually CV record them and have them change and be automatable. And it's just affecting stereo low-pass gate. So I can send a rhythmic gate and adjust the attack and decay of it. So by having a long attack and decay and sending slow triggers, it just makes Morphogene appear occasionally and then disappear. Now we have some Morphogene. So I can have hands off, it's just going to fill in some gaps. So I can have some other instruments happening, and then Morphogene will just appear occasionally. I got this technique from Nick from Sylvan Esso. The band played in Bend, Oregon last summer when I was living there, and we had the chance to hang out backstage for a bit afterwards. And as to be expected, we spent most of the time geeking out about music and approach and philosophy and gear, you know, the important things in life. So that's a technique that Nick uses with Morphogene in his modular system with Sylvan Esso. His Morphogene is actually running into a natural gate module, and he gets his triggers from White Whale, but the concept is the same. It's really pretty great how he approaches that rack, as the triggers come from White Whale, whereas all the pitches are coming from Ableton Live and are pre-composed. So it's a brilliant combination of planned with improvised. But that's another story altogether. I shared some of this stuff on my Discord, which you can join through Patreon, shortly after that hang session. I was just so inspired after that talk that I just wanted to share some of what I had learned with the community that we're building over there. If that sounds like your kind of party, please consider supporting on Patreon to join the club. Then in the last couple pages on Twister, I have delays on each channel, color-coded to here, with flourish and probability for Platts, rings, choral, and the synth voice. on the bottom. And then the last page, same kind of thing. I have filters on every channel where these are all low pass, and if you press and turn, it's high pass. So that is such a great organization to easily remember, like, oh, this is my master channel. Let's bandpass everything. And then these are for the reverb. This is the first reverb. This is the second reverb. I tend to keep this one shorter, this one longer. And then this is the flourish again, the same repeated flourish controls. So if I set flourish really high on the first channel, you can see it's still high here, and it's still high here. And if I turn it back down, it's back down, and it's back down. It's the same exact control. So then these reverbs I access on my mixer here. And this is set up as a pre-effects volume control for the 7 channels plus a master. And these selectors select whether the reverb is the first one or the second one. So when they're bright, it's putting it through the second reverb, the longer one, what tends to be the longer one. And if it's not, it's the shorter one, the first one. And then this is the trigger. This enables the trigger for that Morphogene Pingy device. So if it's off, Morphogene's just going to come straight through, no low-pass gating, no Pingy. And then with it enabled, now these AD envelopes will work. So I spend a lot of time on this last page since it has filter for every channel and the main flourishes. And truthfully, I kind of should have this probably as the first page so that it's quicker to get to these 2 middle pages where I have all the details, and then the last one being the delays. I don't use that quite as much. And so it's just a lot more button pushes to go from the 4th to the 1st, and I wish that DJ Tech Tools made a feature in their software that allows you to quickly just move one page to a different location. So take the 4th page and just make it the 1st page and move everybody else over. But they don't, and you have to painstakingly change every single assignment. And I just don't have the patience to do that again. I've spent so much time doing it, it's just like, fine, I'll just do more button clicks. So that's my request to DJ Tech Tools. Please update your software when you get the chance. Thank you. Your old pal, Lightbath. As for this mixer device, watch the long form on Patreon to see exactly how this controller is scripted to make that A-B effects send switching work. So thanks for following along with this complex setup. It could be fun to take a look at how I use the vector sequencer to build and play sequences. If that's something you'd be interested in, please say so down in the comments. If I get enough interest, I'll make a video about it. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.